just a couple of days ago because there were 4 games in that series, and if I recall correctly, Dokla was on Sion in 3 of them. Those happened to be the 3 games CLG lost. He looked much better in the Gwen game. We could visibly see the
advantage as far as Inspired being down towards the bottom side quadrant for the clear. Bottom side just got their reset off for their purchase quite nicely.
Oh, and Poom just gets chain CC'd. Wild Growth will keep him alive for an extra second or 2 here, but the auto attack in the air is good, and it's first blood. Weaver's wall into the river here. It does not separate anyone from EG. All 4 players remain on the left side of the wall. CLG is still thinking about a contest here. Teleports are available for both top laners, but the teleports are not unleashed. They have to be on a turret. The Drake goes over to EG, but now CLG are ready to fight. Inspired, still doing just fine. Drops most of the damage there on the clone. Now has to get back away. Contracts is able to disengage as over the wall comes Someday, and the kills are coming through. Supports are dead on both sides, but the rockets are flying, and EG's got to try to get away. Inspired and Someday both barely hanging on as more damage pours into FBI's health bar. Evil Geniuses may have got the Drake. FBI, but he'll just hop, skip, jump right back over the wall. But this did buy CLG enough time to take down the first turret of the game here in the top lane and build themselves up. And it looks like Evil Geniuses are committing a teleport from JoJo to see what they might be able to find. Luger is excited, firing rockets into FBI, who now has to retreat. Evil Geniuses wanted to go for a collapse, but they're too scattered, and CLG is regrouped in the Drake now.
Exactly. Poom got a face check.
Poom face checks, but he sidesteps the charm, and now Contracts is ready to chase down the enemy mid laner. Vulcan wants to get away with the quickness, and JoJo is trying to use the ulti charges to find his own escape. They flash in, and Poom gets the kill. JoJo's back in the dirt, and CLG's back in the driver's seat.
I actually wish for the last minute we had like a turbo zoom out to see the entire map, because there were so many funny little things going on that you could tell. They defend their dragon, plus they get the chase down kill onto the Ahri, and they get the image onto EG members if they're all a screen apart from each other.
True.
That was the genius of it all as Palafox is going down.
Yep, Inspired, good job. Inspired looking maybe for an opportunity to go for a wraparound here. Contracts just jumps right into the brush, while Dokla's gonna be soaking damage from the other 4 players here on EG. You got one isolated guy on either side. Dokla's able to disengage now as Contracts still looking for the extra damage here on Inspired. Someday swoops in, Luger's down, he's gone. CLG lost the only guy they couldn't afford to lose, and Evil Geniuses wanna get some more. Poom sidesteps a charm, but it's already
so beneficial for the Evil Geniuses. Really good heads-up play there from Someday.
In the team fight, everything's already done. Cut your losses if you're on the side of CLG as JoJo goes over the wall and Poom's the target. Nice killer instinct from Evil Geniuses. Should set him up here for a kill. Poom's still somehow alive. That took way longer than it should have took. And now Inspired and JoJo and everybody else on EG's got to try to get away. Inspired's trying to spin to win, but Contracts is having none of it. Shut down back over to CLG's jungler, and it'll be 1 for Luger, still keeping his distance. Dokla charmed up here on the front line. Baron still at about half HP. Inspired will be back alive in about 5 seconds. CLG are trying to commit, but EG want to push him off. FBI pops the ulti. Zeri's ready to go, but Poom's joined back up to reinforce the counter logic gaming line. Someday's gonna be hit by the ulti coming out of Sion, but Someday now re-engaging, looking for the valuable targets. Dokla's burning away, but Contracts goes on a rampage and FBI is dead. CLG still fighting as Someday stays alive just barely. Seismic Shove finally takes him out, and Contracts is gonna be caught on the back end of the fight. Decimating smash over the wall does a whole lot of nothing, and with Luger and Contracts both down, EG are swooping in to clean up the rest. Palafox falls, and Inspired and JoJo are mopping everybody up. It's play. What the hell are you doing, Dokla? They want to start up this Drake, and now you got Vulcan ready to go in. They're going to lock down Contracts as he tries to engage. He pops the stasis to survive. They throw out a little bit of that defensive crowd control, trying to get their man back out. But it's EG still on the Drake. They want to secure the soul right here. Down to 1,000 HP. There it is. Secured by Inspired. Dokla wants to engage, but Someday, again, finds a target. This time it's only Poom, but Luger's in the middle of everybody. Luger's going down. EG found the AD carry, and now what in the world is CLG gonna do about it? FBI gets found in response, and Palafox is still alive. Vulcan and JoJo want to go in. Vulcan gets the knockup, and Palafox is not long for this world. JoJo doesn't have a lot of mana to work with, and Inspired finds the kill. absolutely clutch from the Evil Geniuses jungler. Dokla does not have the damage to do much else. They're gonna stagger the death timers. They're just gonna keep him here and screw with him a little bit. It's an ace for EG.
Geniuses on top of the soul are able to get the last of the outer towers remaining.
To the Baron. Contract's looking for the opportunity to steal this one away. He knows that they're going to need to do some sort of a crazy move at some point here. Contracts goes over the wall. Contracts goes into the ground as Dokla now finds himself caught in the middle of 5 Evil Geniuses players. It could take him a while to clear this. Okay, Sion's just going to go ahead, flash out. Dokla leaves this behind, but it will be Baron plus a kill on the enemy jungler going the way of Evil Geniuses.
What a fun game, Flowers. It's been a while since we've been able to preach about the Evil Geniuses team fighting.
You had JoJo and Danny just outperforming everybody mechanically on these carry rolls. You had Inspired and you had Vulcan being able to find the engages and the angles over and over and over and over and over again. And then you had Impact in the top lane constantly being the rock.
The map is very dark though, especially in red quadrant, so Boom's got to be super scared there.
He can be super scared or he can be super dead. Either way, Evil Geniuses are happy about it. Contracts has to retreat back over the wall into the safety of his base. 1.5 minutes on this Baron buff, and EG are looking to find even more.
Gotta train yourself to look for these little jungle pets now. Junglers, I know, I definitely relate. It is very annoying when your little jungle pet gives you away, but people should be training themselves to look for these as well.
Should be training their pets better. Yeah, stay in the bush.
The pets don't fall. It's really annoying because if you go up next to a wall, never mind.
We already got the fight breaking out. Dokla finds himself caught, and I don't think there's any way out of it now. Inspired goes godlike. Incredible performance from him here in this first game. Someday, all the meanwhile is just smacking on the mid lane tier 3 turret, setting them up for the next objective, but they might not even need it. With a 5v4, they're gonna look straight for Nexus turrets now. Evil Geniuses wanting to end game number 1. First Nexus turret about to die. Contracts can't get any sort of an engage angle as Palafox throws out the Weaver's wall. Someday he's gonna be knocked back into the team, but he finds the knockup on Luger, and that's all you've got to do. CLG collapse. And Evil Geniuses show us that they are ready to go. Lower bracket start or not, they started with a good win here against CLG. They'll pad the stats a little bit. Got to make sure your momentum's ready. Got to make sure everybody's feeling it. Grab another kill there onto Contracts. Go for some demoralization. Evil Geniuses 21-9, 10,000 gold up, 4 Drakes to 1. Just end the damn game. I'm getting tired of talking. Hit the Nexus. Dokla's going on a magical journey to the middle of nowhere, and he ain't even playing Bard. GG! Evil Geniuses win the first one.
They're not showing any.
Oh, there it is again. Wow. Yeah, I was talking about this earlier. On blue side, you're probably going to see more of a bruiser being blinded if you're trying to, you know, put Dokla on something with a lot more agency, especially in the
early start here yet again in game 2. We'll see if CLG does anything to try to steal it away. Maybe Luger shoots a laser over the wall and tries to get lucky, but I don't think a whole lot else will really go down. FBI and Vulcan doing a good job trading onto Luger and Poom here. They just got the stronger 2v2 straight up in that situation, so they can force them back. And EG earns themselves an early Infernal Drake.
Double win, because if you looked earlier as well, Palafox was under his turret in So if for whatever reason, wow, that missed. Wow.
That's big.
They might still try to dive this though. Oh. Someday
has his ulti. He'll buffer through the fear to escape. Someday doesn't die, so Palafox's roam. Yeah, you're going to get the ulti out of the Malphite, but that's it, and he has TP to return to lane after he heals.
Yep, and Ari's going to translate this down to bot now to pressure bot lane harder. This is looking really, really bad for CLG. Luger's going to die here.
Luger at 250 HP here on the Zeri. Vulcan's just putting arrows in him, man. Man, what?
Where EG are trying to make him...
JoJo flashing, and there they try to separate the follow-up from the initial engage. JoJo getting away for now. A little bit of damage over the wall from Palafox, doesn't hit. JoJo finally dies. CLG had to throw the kitchen sink at him, but
Sink hit, at least. CLG finally gets something to hit, but this is the play I was talking about during that setup. EG had a mirrored play on bottom side. 3 people plus the Rift Herald. That tower's gone.
Yeah, I mean, JoJo dies, but at what cost? I mean, they're going to lose bot turret. Oh, woo!
Inspired wants a move on Palafox here. Nobody
really
there in
hit.
time to follow up. That's the issue. He got a little bit too hypey. Meanwhile, bottom lane, 80 carry combat, 1v1. FBI popping the heal, trying to close the distance on Luger. Lets it fly!
And the bottom turret, and they get Dragon number 2.
I mean, man, this game is going exactly.
Luger and Poom standing right next to one another. You don't want to clump up for mouth fight. Vulcan's gonna try to keep everybody away here with the volleys. Inspired Sonic Wave over the wall. Where's the resonating strike? Dokla tries to frontline for CLG, but he loses a lot of HP very quickly. FBI is gonna be marked by the ulti there from the Vex. Palafox into the back, looking for the enemy AD carry. They lock him down, they blow him up. It's 1-for-1 so far. FBI traded away for contracts. Jojo wants to chase Palafox and Poom right back out. Charm hits the enemy support, and with Vulcan and Someday ready to follow up, I would think they're both done. Nice ulti coming out of the big man in the top lane, and Evil Geniuses make it 3 dead bodies in CLG.
Fog of War.
Yeah, I mean, Varus actually died without dealing much damage in that fight, but Zeri was actually cut off on the other side, so he couldn't really get in and do, you know, what Zeri likes to do. But
Then Someday held his flash and ultimate for that whole skirmish and then blast them towards the end.
yeah, and it's going to be pretty hard for CLG to get control here. And like you were saying, I think not a bad play for CLG to do would actually run to top lane, get gold on that Zeri with the Herald, but they're actually going to just try to brute force fight this third dragon anyway.
Dokla already using the ulti here. Means CLG cannot go in looking for that charged up Vault Breaker. Dokla's at half HP and has no ulti. Someday's still waiting a few more seconds for the Malphite ult. Contracts jumps in, but he only finds the enemy top laner. Contracts is already about to die. He goes unstoppable, but is he even gonna live? Yes, he is. They turn it around, they kill Someday instead. Dokla's gonna be traded back. It'll be a 1-for-1 here with the top laners at the start as Jojo tries to get away and Palafox wants the damage. They found another in the pit, and FBI drops to Poom. Evil Genius.
CLG punch back at EG finally here. They get a dragon for themselves, and the Rift Herald
was the flash used by Contracts, was the teleport used by Someday to try to attempt the follow-up there. Minions finish off
the local gold for it well before the dragon. Still a minute and a half left to be able to reset and move your vision over. A lot of the vision here invested by EG towards the top side.
Again, threatening the opportunity to go in.
Watch
Find
Someday.
that flank angle.
Watch Someday here.
Eyes on Someday. Where's the engage gonna be? Arrow flies out, but it doesn't hit much of anybody. Poom, Palafox, and Contracts wanting to work together here, but Dokla's made his entrance from the left side. Someday's low, but Dokla's lower. They focus Inspired down first. CLG kill off the enemy jungler, and Dokla's still alive. Palafox traded back now to 1-for-1 as Luger is charmed, and he tries to get away, but FBI hunts him down with a rain of arrows. Poom and Contracts now trying to escape back down into the bottom lane. They've lost both damage dealers on CLG, and Evil Geniuses want to put some more bodies on the ground. Someday still looking here as Contracts and Dokla get out, but all Poom's gonna be is a desync death timer. One more auto attack from FBI seals the deal, and Evil
Able
Genius
to turn that, they might have just turned the entire game.
On the reset, they get dragon number. Yeah, he dodges out on the active from Jojo.
Oh, we're not done.
No.
FBI tries to get away, but the Shadow Surge hunts him down. Palafox finally gets the burst on the enemy target that he needs to get, and Evil Geniuses have lost their AD carry. Save Private. You have Contracts waiting in the brush here. You can also see Dokla around the backside of the pit. Inspired just clearing out these last couple of minions. Someday just immediately finding Contracts and saying, all right, let's go. If they kill off the enemy jungler, they're ready. And FBI's already found him. Dokla jumps in only to die with his buddy as he cannot get a kill on Jojo back. It is a double kill over to FBI.
Flowers, the timing out of that stopwatch was pixel perfect, by the way. Contracts had flash.
EG as well. They got so tired of just letting CLG go through that bot side, get that positioning on them, make the fight kind of riskier. They just went, hey.
Expecting to be able to get from that. Someday now seeing if he can follow this one up, find a pick for Evil Genius's side. Dokla's at about half HP. Someday is not worried about anything whatsoever. He knows how tanky he is. Luger looks for an angle on Jojo, but he's not going to get much of anything there as Vulcan and FBI take up position here in the top lane, getting ready to shove this one up now too. Evil Geniuses have 4 turrets. Tier 2s are still standing in both top and bottom lane, but it's FBI, Someday, and Vulcan looking to fix that here in the top side and continue this multi-pronged attack. Jojo's got a wave ready to crash into the tier 3 turret mid as Inspired floats between the 2 lanes, ready to help whoever might get engaged on or whoever there might be an angle to make a play on CLG with. Luger tries to clear out mid, but it ain't gonna work. Jojo has already taken the tier 3 turret as the remainder of Evil Geniuses are set to do the same thing here in the top side. Jojo pressuring the inhib now, making sure that CLG always have to be multitasking in terms of what they're addressing. Now they go in after Jojo. Remember, he does not have a Zonias. However, he can still get himself away. Contracts now has to disengage as Someday finds a knock up onto 2 and 1 One of them's Luger. Dokla tries to get out, but Inspired's ready to go in.
Oh,
He jumps right on back, and FBI shoots down Luger. With the inhibitors down in top and mid lane, EG's ready for their victory push. Luger's out of the picture, and so is the first Nexus turret. Evil Geniuses want to end this one right now and move on to a match point scenario. Poom tries to stop him, but it's not doing anything. FBI goes on a rampage, and CLG is forced back yet again. Health bars are low on EG's side, but it's not going to matter. It's JoJo and FBI again doing the damage. The Varus, the Ashe, the arrows, the plays. It's match point for EG.
And how he plays team fights, so that's one way to look at it.
It also hopefully will erase one of the problems that CLG has had, is that they
Top
have
Scuttle Crab, but that leaves the opening. CLG saw him go topside, so they want blood.
This is gonna determine a lot, I think. The first blood goes over to FBI. It's a 2-for-1 for EG. And game number one, it was closer to the 6.5, 7 minute mark, so not quite as fast. But the biggest detail is the fact that it's still well before the first Rift Herald spawn.
First, though, they weren't able to make a play out of it before Inspired was able to catch up and get his level 6. Now they're both topside as well into a Cassante, which is not where you want to make any dangerous plays.
Ooh, Someday's all out. Dokla tries to get away. Someday wanted to jump in front of him, stop that ulti from being able to get all the way away. Meanwhile, here in bottom lane, 2v2 is not going the way of Evil Geniuses. Luger and Poom just destroy Vulcan before FBI can do anything about it. And CLG's bot lane is trying to flex muscles here a little bit. FBI wants to fight back now in a 1v2. The Feathers don't find the EG80 carry. Poom nearly just gets auto-attacked to death. FBI loses Crescendum, but now what about the fight after? Luger goes in for the ulti, and FBI wants to fire back. Both sides incredibly low. Poom takes an auto-attack, has to flash.
Inspired gonna use it here. The reason why you do this as EG is because if CLG don't come to answer, then you can get a 2-turret trade. So I would like to see EG continue to usher that Rift Herald up and get 2 turrets for 1, because CLG got a lot of turret plates by hand with their Rakan and Xayah as well. And you really want the value. Secondary, these turrets right here are worth 800 gold.
It's a lot.
To your team.
Bottom side though, Someday getting dove. 4 players from CLG after this tier 1 turret and after the Evil Geniuses top laner. Poom just dies to the turret. That can't be the intention. Someday, casually 1 versus 4. Palafox tries to get back out of the range. Contracts and Palafox.
Yes, is the call out there. I guess the only problem with that game plan would be that there is a stopwatch purchase from Vulcan. Even though he doesn't have flash, he does have stopwatch, so a little bit more.
Talking about Kobe, couple minutes before an objective comes up, blow a critical summoner spell, make a high value.
I guess ultimate is back up. CLG have been able to wait for the cooldown now.
JoJo also at half HP. The Veigar eating some of that poke from the Jace. There's that mid lane.
Patience is a virtue. Determination there from CLG. They return. Doesn't walk up to the brush until his team gets there. This is a little bit of JoJo bait.
Yep, this is them saying, all right, come get him. And sure enough, they take the bait. But can EG get the punish they were looking for? Dokla's here on the front, and they want to go after the frontliner of CLG. The Scion is tanky, but he will finally drop, and it's Someday getting the kill. CLG, their 80 carries back in the mid lane, gonna get that wave shoved up now. Dokla's dead body slowly running out of juice, and he's out of the picture with no summoner spells, but Vulcan is about to die. He will fall, but if he's traded for Palafox, EG are gonna be just fine with it. Someday goes all out, and Luger's his target, but now he's gotta be careful because the rest of EG's not here yet. Evil Geniuses, 4 versus 3 on the map for another 15 seconds. They're gonna start up the Baron.
They surely are, and they're gonna burn through it pretty quickly here. Poom's gonna get a Scryers for vision, 6,000 health and dropping.
This is dangerous, though. Contracts his poke has JoJo and Someday both very low. EG really want to commit for this. They want to go after the Baron. Luger goes in. He nearly kills Someday, but he ain't quite going to get him. FBI, he has the Severum, but how much is CLG going to commit to this? JoJo has flash to get out of the back of the pit if he can. FBI has no sums. Inspired's ready to go in. They want to turn this one around. Luger is low and they take him out, but FBI is going to be traded back. Now Inspired's killed second. JoJo wants to get away, but Palafox puts up.
That was pure and simple JoJo bait. EG, they played the long con here. JoJo gave flowers. Eyes on FBI.
You got it.
He has no flash on Aphelios, but Contrax is already dead. He gets caged. He's actually dead already.
He just gets popped, and EG get a Drake for it.
Man, see about the replay on a extra kill as well over in their favor. Now JoJo got. Never mind.
Oh, Luger gets grabbed there, but the problem is FBI is now in trouble too. They gotta try to defend their AD carry, but FBI is about to die, down to 100 HP, trying to get away, but Dokla takes him out. CLG looking for more. Someday protecting Vulcan and Inspired as they make their exit. And CLG, off the back of a blunder from their jungler, turn things around and find a pick on the enemy AD carry.
Big Dokes with the Scion ultimates. Rakan and Scion engage from CLG. They get one back. They allow Palafox to push out on top side too. Since they've got a rotation here, they can move everybody up towards this top side, maybe.
Oh, Inspired face checking a brush there with Poom and Luger both ready. Evil Genius is going to rotate their mid laner up here to the top side now to try to save the tier 2 turret, but Palafox already cleans it up.
Back.
There are no Scryer trinkets available on Evil Geniuses. They have to check this normally. Death sentence over the wall. Inspired jumps in. EG thinking about contesting this one. Inspired gets chunked, and the Baron.
Certainly got all the vision control moving up. EG are trying to make a power move to push out mid first, though, and possibly rotate over forward.
As FBI gets hit with an accelerated shock blast, loses a chunk of health for that one. Poom looking for the chance to go in here. Someday trying to escape any sort of engage from CLG as Inspired goes for an ulti, but Palafox kills FBI. And that just means it's a green light for CLG to keep this one going. JoJo's gonna get jumped on next, and CLG scare everybody away.
Jace, two-shotting people here. CLG will get that dragon. With the Baron, they can also rush in too and take out at least inhibitor turret. JoJo trying to put up a cage here for defense, but it's not gonna be enough. The onslaught from CLG will not stop.
Dokla's the only one JoJo could hit, and that doesn't do anything for the EG defenses. JoJo's about to die. He stays alive and kites back. He should make it back into the fountain, but Evil Geniuses are desperately trying to defend their base here. As you can see, Inspired loses clone, still barely alive on the main Wukong himself, as now he does fall, and CLG are seeing what else they might get. Dokla should die here. FBI cuts him down with the auto attacks. FBI goes in for a second. He's found Contracts. Wants to keep looking. Palafox and Luger both trying to get away. JoJo wants to cut him off. He's got the speed boost after the teleport here. A little bit of dark matter over the wall. Won't hit anybody. FBI has that green gun. He can snipe at these guys. Palafox and Luger, they're trying to get away. They want to go for a cheeky recall. Vulcan, I don't know what the hell that was, but now he's dead. Palafox goes back over the wall. He's on FBI. EG, they screwed around and they found out. CLG go after him and they cut him all to pieces.
This is the CLG that people wanted to see. Palafox and Luger, they're not going to try and escape. They're going to turn that one right back around. Vulcan gets bopped, then FBI gets out for Palafox. And then Luger says, I've got flash, I can follow you. Poom is
dead. Unlucky. Inspired going in after Luger. Looking to make this one a 2-for-1 deal. Inspired is low, but Luger is dead.
I guess so, but in the end, doesn't matter. Teleport got interrupted, plus...
Ooh. They want Someday. He pops the Gargoyle Stone Plate. He pops the Flash. Someday's just trying to get out of town now as he finds the Q3. FBI's coming around from the side. Palafox in a lot of danger. If they're able to blow him up, that's going to be a problem, but FBI's now very low too. Evil Genius is ready to fight back, and FBI goes on a killing spree. Dokla's here in the front line, soaking so much damage, but there's none being traded back from the side of CLG. A double kill over to FBI. Dokla's body's trying to get something back, but FBI's already got a triple kill now with the contracts. Luger fights out a little bit, but there's another kill. FBI
gets caught on Cassante, only to ult Palafox, the most fed member, the level 8 out. The damage is done. Look at the CLG backline now. They're separated from the rest of the team. EG can kill these frontline tanks without the threat. And the cage even catching Luger there.
There on JoJo, but they want to punish him. Poom's ready to go in and try to catch the Evil Genius's mid laner. Poom takes a decent chunk of damage there, but now they should be able to find him. JoJo's job now is to buy as much time as he can. He wants to throw out a little bit more CC. Palafox is low. Dark matter coming down. JoJo's still trying to stand and fight. Poom just barely escaping from that one. JoJo is spamming these spells like an absolute madman. Finally, he drops, but he takes Palafox with him. EG will take that.
Oh, JoJo the dodgeball king. Here we go. They're not done yet. Flowers, FBI with Baron buff. Teleport coming right back in from Someday.
It was so important there for JoJo to kill Palafox because now the biggest threat on CLG is not around for the defense. EG, 4v4 in the enemy base, 40 seconds on either mid laner. Palafox will respawn ready to battle, and JoJo can TP in once he's back on the Rift now too. Inspire takes a chunk of damage. FBI's the target. Most important man on the map right now. He steps up. He's still ready to try to bait these guys in further, but with their frontliner inside. I was really close, and also for those of y'all who are paying attention to the tooltip that just came up, thank you, observers. Yeah, that does say 1,559 damage on a 2.19 second cooldown. This is why earlier we were talking about the fear of letting this game go any further than it has to if you're on the CLG side. FBI and JoJo just gonna knock down the second inhibitor here. It's the CLG base that's now under a lot of pressure. Look at the Nexus turrets, they're about to die, but FBI might be in danger now too. He gets his positioning back and fires out the Moonlight Vigil. Evil Geniuses looking to protect their carries as Dokla tanks up damage on the front line. EG still looking for a chance to go for the throat. FBI's got the Infernum, and he's got the range too. They want to use Decimating Smash to try to defend, but it won't matter. CLG going in. They know they have to try something here and now. Inspire's going to be forced to the side, but FBI's already dominating. Inspire's staying alive. Luger's under pressure. He can't get the damage he needs. FBI found the double kill. Evil Geniuses are just making easy work out of them. CLG has lost the game. They have lost the series, and EG are back in style. They will 3-0 their opponents and punch their ticket to the next round. But hey, with that said, reminder that we're officially live with tickets for these LCS Spring Finals that we're talking about over in Raleigh, North Carolina on April 8th and April 9th. And with the playoffs here, we've opened up even more tickets. If you're interested, head on over to Ticketmaster.com right now to get yours before they're all gone. It should be a hell of a good time out there. Hope to see you with us. But now we're joining Revenge with JoJo and Vulcan for the Verizon postgame interview.
All right, guys, I'm actually joined here by the victorious Vulcan and JoJo after a 3-0 commanding, wins against CLG. Well, yeah, there was some shakiness, but yeah, I was gonna ask, how did you guys feel entering today? You guys were having kind of a rough 2 weeks. You were sick. You weren't playing in the studio. Was there extra nerves? How did that feel?
I was actually pretty confident going into today. I think our scrims were pretty good. I think we kind of improved about our mentality going into stage games and stuff like that. I was a little bit worried about not having played stage for so long. And I don't think I played very well. I'm pretty happy that we won with how badly I played. I think it'll only get easier when I'll play better next series for sure. And we still won 3-0, right? So I think we're looking good to make a run. So.
And for you, JoJo, I know that you're receiving a lot of feedback, a lot of flame from the community because, you were sick, you weren't having that many great games like your usual, you weren't playing to your top level. But today, I felt like you really smashed mid, you won counter matchups, you were all over the place, you were 1v9 in team fights. What was your mentality like entering today, and how did you bounce back?
I mean, I don't know. I've been saying this since last year. Regular season really doesn't matter. With how the bracket works and everything, it really doesn't matter too much. So I knew we were playing really well in scrims too, and obviously COVID messed us up, but still I played really bad. But we started ramping it up during scrims and we started playing really well. So I think we're all confident today.
Yeah, I mean, it showed. And, I actually want to ask another question. You guys watched C9 and CLG, and it looked kind of like a close series. Did that make you guys feel more nervous entering today? Were you guys kind of watching that and actually getting oh, well, this is the champs they're playing? You felt like you got better prep, or what was that like for you guys as competitors?
Well, it feels like CLG always takes C9 to a banger series. It happened last summer too. So I wasn't too surprised. I wasn't too nervous. I would have been more nervous if C9 ended up losing to CLG because I just think C9 has better players and is a better team, right? So that would have been annoying. If they'd played so bad on the day that they dropped to the lower bracket and play us, that would have been more worrying. But I don't know. CLG always has bangers against C9, so I didn't think it would be that much more scarier.
All right, and I think you guys are now versing Golden Guardians next. What do you guys think about that? Do you guys think they're going to be a harder opponent than CLG, or is it going to?
I don't know. I thought 100 Thieves was going to win. I mean, they have
okay.
I mean, they have Doublelift and Birks in the two greatest. So besides me, but I mean, besides that, Golden Guardians are pretty good. They're mid jungle, but I feel like everyone else is their weak point. I would say their strong point is their mid jungle, and I think we can abuse that pretty easily.
All right, yeah, that's pretty fair, I would say. And thank you guys so much for doing this interview. Appreciate it. And we're going to actually throw it back to the player lounge, analyst desk. So see what they have to say.
Hello and welcome back to This or That with Kobe and Jat, presented by Verizon. Fresh off our first round of playoffs, our first week.
4 best of 5s in the books.
Yeah. What do you think?
I think week 8 baited everybody. 3rd and 4th place from week 8.
But we
seven.
knew, we had an inkling. Let's get the slides rolling here. We had an inkling as far as week 8 going. Better playoffs narrative buff. Is it sailing through the top bracket or rising from the ashes of the lower bracket?
What? What's the narrative buff? That a team is sailing?
I mean,
a team is rising?
Maybe we can rephrase this to be like, would you rather be these teams that have been cruising through, that haven't lost and been cruising?
Yeah, winning is way better.
So both of them are winning though. So I think that's the point. The point is, would you rather start in the lower bracket and then you just won and you're coming up to the upper bracket, or would you rather?
Yeah, it's this. I would rather
because
just
then
win
you're
all
higher
the games.
seeded and you're better.
You're just
presumably.
cruising. You play fewer games. You're giving away less strategy.
This slide broke Jat.
It doesn't make the most sense. We're going to slide number 2. We got a lot of slides. You can miss some. You can hit some. Maybe I'm missing something too. Let me know. Better focus for a coach. Motivational or big brain strats.
This for sure. I'd rather have some straps coming out of my coach. I don't need my coach to just come tell me, good job. You know, you're going to do it. You can be anything you want to be when you grow up. Anyone can tell me that, chat. What a coach is supposed to do is come up with a good strat that's actually going to help me and actually going to win me a game. This is a complaint that a lot of players have, actually.
It is. People want their coaches to be big brain.
Yeah.
That is the expectation.
I think this slide, give me an argument for that slide.
So, the slide itself doesn't do the best sell. But the best argument I would say is if the coach has a big enough brain to be smarter than his players, he should just frickin' play. So it's an unrealistic expectation.
You need the hands, too.
The hands are not that hard, actually. These guys are all former challenger players. Like, it could happen. But not this guy.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, we're definitely going.
We're going with that.
With the bigger brain, better all-pro team. This is from Psychotic Weeb. Is it Kobe Dash, Emily, Mark Z, and Freak, or Captain Flowers, Tigress, Raz, and Azael? Oh, let's go. Let's throw down. I mean, I have to go with my team. My team looks pretty stacked.
It's a good team.
Also, my team has the Dash buff. We're bringing him back, baby.
My team has Captain Flowers. My team has World Champion.
But guess what? My team is going to ban Skarner. You're done. You're done.
All right, I'm just going to take this as who would win in a league game.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
I think that's you.
Yeah. Let's go next slide.
Oops.
All right.
Yeah, my bad.
More likely to score a fresh pentakill in playoffs. Okay, so is it, well, which one's playing Zeri? That's my follow-up question. Whoever gets Zeri is
well, then who's more likely to pick Zeri? Berserker does. They do all these lane dominant things. It's actually Prince. Prince is more likely to get the pentakill because they're going to pick the scaling drafts. So now he's going to pick the early game drafts. Zeri's early game's not that good. Last split would have been Berserker. This split, it's Prince. It's clearly this.
But C9 are homies. They're going to give you the penta also.
Okay.
They're not going to troll.
Okay, yeah.
Spica's going to steal that kill. Spica's going to try.
They're going to do it because they're homies. Like, come on, man, it's Prince.
All right, I'm going Berserker.
Okay.
Let's go next one.
Good argument. More impressive play, Danny's penta or Stixay's Zeri solo bolo. This is really interesting because this is clearly the more spectacular play. It's it's scripted. It's a 2v5 Baron Steel and Pentakill. This is such higher risk what Stixay did. If he messes this up, he's flamed for years.
So I think that they do have a big chance of losing the whole series if he does mess that up.
The game is probably over.
He's definitely going to get flamed.
The soul is already inside of.
I feel like Danny, as far as more impressive play, wiping a team, pentakill at Baron, this one was very impactful.
Yeah.
And this play does win you the game, that wins you the series also. But I think that one is more impressive. This one was really nice. You can see he dodges the hook, which is a thing, you know, Doublelift was looking at the hook, Lantern just dissipates there, and 6A ease in and is able to, you know, win the entire game there, barely living and flashing out. But I still have to go with the Danny Penta.
Final argument. What happens if the play doesn't work for the player? People are like, oh yeah, nice try, Danny. And they're just like, go next. Whereas this, the risk factor.
The question was more impressive. What do you...
Makes it impressive. I think it's hard to top.
Okay, because the decision from Danny was easier because you're like,
exactly.
Our only hope is to do this.
So everyone's going to do that, but no one's going to do that except for 6.
The really cool part about this one is hearing from Huhi afterwards, how Huhi was dead, telling him, don't go,
exactly.
Back out. And he was
Who's
like,
telling Danny not to go?
No, I'm going to win the game.
Okay, next slide, I think, maybe not. Yes, a slide. More likely miracle run from the Hamoods, EG wins playoffs or GG wins playoffs?
Ooh.
I think this one is...
I mean, EG just 3-0'd, so...
Yeah.
They're looking like they have been able to fully recover.
Yeah.
JoJo's playing way better. That solved all my doubts there. Vulcan mentions how there's definitely a lot of things to still tighten up for them.
It's true. It's true.
But I do think EG now has, with this series, pushed away a lot of my doubts as far as will they be able to recover from their slump from week 8, you know, COVID slump going on.
Yeah, I mean, a more miracle run would be GG wins playoffs, but the question is which one's more likely.
Yeah.
And I think it's clear. I don't even think this is a miracle run.
Because the reason
they won a title a year ago.
Yeah, the reason that EG are in the lower bracket is because of that.
Yeah. They've been like a favorite the whole year.
Let's keep rolling. Do we have any more?
No, Kobe, that is a wrap for this or that. On our end, send us your suggestions in the comments, please. We use them in the show. I don't read the comments that much. I try to, but then I see a question, it'll kind of spoil it. Anyway, thank you for joining us on this or that. That'll do it from here. For the LCS, player of the series that we just saw, Kobe, who do you think it's going to be? It's on the screen. It is Inspired. The Wukong game looks like it hard carried that player of the series.
I actually voted JoJo.
It was close. I voted Inspired. I think the game 1 was playing...
But the Wukong game was
Their mid-jungle, honestly, man, is so linked to each other that it's really hard to differentiate between the two with how well they played. So congratulations to JoJo. They move on to play Golden Guardians in the next round.
Inspired as well for actually winning it.
In our updated playoff bracket. And then there were 4